And according to the Webster Dictionary, fundamentalism was first used to describe a group of American Protestant Christians who protested against the church. The Christian church, it believed the message of the Bible is from God. But these American Protestant Christians, they protested and they said that not only the Bible is the message from God, but every word, every letter of the Bible is the word of God. If anyone can prove that every word, every letter of the Bible is the word of God, then this movement is a good movement. Whereas on the other hand, if anyone can prove that each and every word, every letter of the Bible is not the word of God, then the movement is not a good movement. According to Oxford Dictionary, fundamentalist is a person who strictly adheres to the ancient doctrines of any religion. And the revised edition of the Oxford Dictionary, fundamentalist is a person who strictly adheres to the ancient doctrines of any religion, especially Islam. This word, especially Islam, has been added in the revised edition of the Oxford Dictionary. The moment you hear the word fundamentalist, you start thinking of a Muslim. You start thinking of a terrorist. You start thinking of an extremist. And many of the Muslims, they are apologetic. They say, no, I'm not an extremist. I tell the people, I am an extremist. I'm extremely kind. I'm extremely merciful. I'm extremely loving. I'm extremely honest. I'm extremely just. What's wrong in being an extremist? Why are we apologetic? What's wrong in being extremely kind, extremely honest, extremely just, extremely loving? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Baqarah, chapter number 2, verse number 208. Udkhulu fi silmi kaffa. Enter into Islam wholeheartedly. You can't say partly when it will benefit me, I'll be just, and when it will not benefit me, I will not be just. And the media says that Muslims are terrorists. What is the meaning of the word terrorist? Terrorist, by definition, means a person who causes terror. And many a times, two different labels are given to the same person for the same activity. About 60 to 70 years back, before India gained its freedom, there were people who were fighting for the freedom of the country. And these people, by the British government, they were called as terrorists. Whereas these same people, by the common Indians, they were called as freedom fighters, as patriots. Same people, same activity, but two different labels. If you agree with the view of the British government that the Britishers had the right to rule over India, then you would call these people as terrorists. Whereas, if you agree with the view of the common Indians that the Britishers had come to do trade and they had no right to rule over us, then you would call these people as freedom fighters, as patriots. Same people, same activity, but two different labels. And you have several such examples. We have the example of the American Revolution that took place in 1775. George Washington, he was called as terrorist number 1. Later on, when America gets its freedom, George Washington, he's made the president of USA. Imagine terrorist number 1, he's made the president of USA. We have several such examples. We have the example of Nelson Mandela. When South Africa was ruled by the white apartheid government, Nelson Mandela was imprisoned in Robben Islands for more than 25 years. And Nelson Mandela, by the white apartheid government, was called as terrorist number 1. Later on, when the white apartheid government is thrown out and South Africa gets its freedom, Nelson Mandela, he's free and he gets the Nobel Prize for Peace. Imagine, terrorist number 1 gets the Nobel Prize for Peace. It was not that he was bad, then he became good. For the same activity for which he was called as terrorist, he gets the Nobel Prize for Peace. So here we realize the media, it is very powerful. It can turn black into white, white into black, hero into villain, villain into hero.